Scream 4 is almost perfect. I absolutely love this movie, but there's just one glaring flaw that holds it back from being the best in the franchise. What's up, guys? Today we're going over Scream 4, and as my premise to start off this video, yes, I think Scream 4 is basically a perfect movie. We're going to go into all the spoilers, so killer reveals and all. If you haven't seen Scream 4, watch Scream 4. That's your warning. Here we go. Scream 4 is great. I love the opening scene. The opening scene is very creative, very innovative, right? Scream 1, 2, and 3 set the tone for having impactful opening scenes or creative nonetheless, right? Cotton Weary in Scream 3, that was more impactful because it's a character we love, and I like the voice changer aspect. It's definitely a lesser opening scene in regards of creativity as 1 and 2. 4, we gotta up the ante. We gotta do something out there, wild, self-aware, meta, right? How are we gonna trick the audience or do something that is completely unique and different? Make a movie, it's not a movie, it's not a movie. And I know some people don't like that. I loved it the first time I watched it because it fit the tone of this franchise so much to me. It made a lot of sense, and it really psyched me out. Especially the second one. I loved after we had the first psych out and they're watching it on screen, and then you have the girl from Forgetting Sarah Marshall do what she did. That freaked me out. I was like, oh snap. And then that was a cut, and I'm like, man, this is like Inception. How long is this going to go on for? I loved it. I absolutely loved that opening scene of Scream 4. I don't get the hate for it. I think it's creative. I think it's hilarious, and it fits the tone of this franchise, and just talking about building more off the Stab franchise, which is something that the sequels have done since Scream 2 and 3, carried on to 4, 5, 6, and hopefully 7. Now I'm going to go back to the positives in a second, but I do got to talk about the one glaring flaw, because you guys are probably wondering what it is now that I mention it. Yeah, you guessed it. It's obvious. It's the way this movie looks. The glare in this movie is glaring, right? It's a weird color correction. It's just orangey. It's bright in certain spots. It looks bizarre. It looks horrible in a lot of different scenes. Some scenes are bearable and you can get used to it, but there's some scenes that's like, dude, it really takes you out of the movie, and it does make it kind of less rewatchable because it's like it's an eyesore. And I'm not someone that usually complains about the way a movie looks. I'm not someone that's like, oh, it needs to be the most beautiful cinematic thing of all time. No, but this is distracting. Like, this honestly could be the worst looking movie ever, especially for a good movie. It's easily the best movie I've ever seen that looks the worst that I've ever seen. Like, that combination, it has to be. I can't think of one worse than this. But with that said, I still think this movie, it plays on the idea of the remake era. It came out in 2011 where, you had Rob Zombie's Halloween came out. You had Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake came out. You have Friday the 13th remake come out. You have a lot of different remakes, so it plays on that, and it brings up the idea of a new Final Girl and a new set of characters while still having the original characters in there. It kind of is almost like a requel, but it's a little different, right? It plays on the idea of remakes, and I love it. I love all the additions. I think all the new characters, right? Jill, Kirby, right? Charlie, Charlie's friend, I'm drawing a blank on his name. They're all really good. I think they all serve a purpose. Judy Hicks being a new iconic character for this movie that they do carry on after this. Really a staple in this movie. Not that I love her with all my heart, but she's a standout. Standout performance. Her back and forth with Gale is very integral to a lot of the plot of this movie and brings a lot of the strife in the relationship between Dewey and Gale. Anthony Anderson as Officer Perkins, he's great. I think he's hilarious in a lot of the other movies. His death with his buddy, his officer, is pretty funny, but also kind of messed up and kind of brutal. Gets stabbed in the forehead like that, and he says, "F you, Bruce Willis." Hilarious. I think that's a good scene. You have Charlie and Robbie set up as the film nerds, kind of being the new Randys of this thing and having their own film class. And then you have Kirby being the lovable, pretty good looking girl that is flirting with the nerd but also knows about horror films. She is easily a fan favorite in the franchise. I don't think she's nowhere as good in her return in Scream 6, but in Scream 4, she's really good, and I just love all these characters. But the one that stole the show the most, outside of obviously our three beloved returnees in Cindy, Gale, and Dewey, is Jill Roberts. Jill Roberts, played by Emma Roberts, absolutely iconic. She is so set up to be such a great final girl. Such a great final girl because Emma Roberts is a star, right? And this is the killer reveal that shocked me the most when I watched this movie. The first time I watched this movie, I was blown away. I couldn't believe it. And then what they do with her character after that point, her jealousy, her rage for Cindy, trying to become a star, that is such a psychotic concept. And that is the thing of Scream, is tapping into that weird, psychotic nature. Some people are like, oh, that doesn't make sense, or why would this killer do this for this motive, that one, blah, blah, blah. It's because they're crazy. At the end of the day, it's really, they come up with something that is believable, but you have to be so psycho to actually, want to do all this for that reason. That's the whole point. It's not supposed to make the most amazing sense. No, they're all psychotic killers, right? And that's the idea of her tapping into her greed, trying to be famous, jealous of, her cousin getting all the recognition all of her life. That's ridiculous. Some people don't like Charlie because he's a puppet and just gets strung along or whatever. Yeah, but I think that just elevates Jill that much more. I still think Charlie was solid. He does a lot of the brutal killing, especially to one of Jill and Kirby's friends, right? In the earlier scenes, one of the most brutal scenes in Scream, almost not Terrifier-like, but the way everything plays out, almost Terrifier-like, right? And I thought his killer reveal was pretty shocking in the sense, not that it couldn't be him or whatever, but just the way it played out. Kirby answering the phone call, paying homage to the original and having to name all these movies, but she knows her movies, she knows her horror films, and she thinks she's got the killer beat, leaves to untie him, and he has a knife in his pocket and stabs her after them having, basically a back and forth love tension, right? Or lust tension, however you want to look at it, right? They almost hooked up, and you could tell it pained Charlie to do that. He really didn't want to do that, because deep down I think he did love Kirby, but he was manipulated by Jill, thinking, okay, I have this thing with Jill, that's why he kissed her in the end and blah blah, and then she just pulls a rug out from underneath him, really screwing him over, right? Just making her that more iconic. Jill, destroying her body, doing all this crazy stuff to make it look like she was attacked too. Just off the wall performance by Emma Roberts. Well done. We take it to the hospital after that, where some people don't like that it gets a little too crazy. But I think it can get a little overdone, but they even make it self-aware enough to let you know, we know this is ridiculous. And I think that's just another clever nature in Scream where, Jill is even like, this was supposed to end at the house. This is just silly, right? That's what they do. I love it. I think Jill looks crazy in a lot of the scenes in that, and I love how she eventually loses, where, she goes, Gale goes, my last word is clear. She's like, clear, and Cindy goes, clear, boom. And then they get her, and then they have this giant monologue of all the news people saying that Jill Roberts is a hero, and she's dead now. I love Scream 4. I think Scream 4 is so creative. You actually feel like Dewey and Gale, not Dewey and Gale, but you feel like Gale is in trouble, and you feel like Dewey is messing up a little too much. I get why Dewey was doing that, but also it's like, Dewey, you guys been through so much together. I sided with Gale in this movie. In other movies, I kind of side with Dewey a little bit more. Gale has helped solve these murders so many times, and Dewey is just dismissing her the whole time, right? Scream has so many layers to their story. I think Cindy is great in her return. This movie's awesome. This movie is awesome. Really, the only flaw is the way that it looks. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up here. I could go on and on about Scream 4. I love it. I think it's great. I think it's by far one of the most creative in the franchise. There is elements about it that, if it wasn't for the way that it looks, it could be my number 2 in the franchise. I don't know if it'd be my number 1, but it definitely could be number 2. It does look that bad that it does hold the movie back that much. But everything else, I think, is perfect. I love it. It's a perfect sequel. If Scream 7 can be half as good as Scream 4, we're in good shape. We'll see. we'll see. I love Scream 4. Comment down below, what do you think about Scream 4? I know it has a cult following. Some people are on the same train as I am. They absolutely love it. And some people hate it. I don't fully get the people that hate it other than the way that it looks. Besides the way that it looks, I love it. It's awesome. So, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. We're going to go through Scream 5, 6, and 7 now, and make some ranking videos. So, yep, like and subscribe.